You got to set up a system that delivers extraordinary service. This is all built around campaigns and action plans, whatever your contact management system might call that, basically setting up a series of events that happen automatically. We basically took what most agents have as a checklist in their file, and I electronified it, put dates and times on it, and when you hit the start button, you can't turn it off. I automated our entire business.
Hello, Patrick Lilly here, and welcome to Real Estate Success Rocks podcast, where we help you answer the question, what does success mean to you? And before we get started, instead of using advertising to support this podcast, we're using patronage. So if you want to become a patron of the podcast, go to realestatesuccess.rocks. You'll find a link to become a patron. And if you want to listen to it for free, by all means do. We want as many listeners as possible, and we want you guys to feel good about it. So we're here with my friend, Brad Korn. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
It's good to see you. Good to see you. It's good to hear you. It's early in the morning, and Brad's out in Kansas City. All right. So at our last conference, Brad had the second highest rated content session in Seattle, and it was on database automation, and people just loved it. So I wanted to bring it to you to expand upon it and go into a little bit more detail.
This is all built around campaigns and action plans, whatever your contact management system might call that, basically setting up a series of events that happen automatically. And I automated our entire business from when we capture a lead, the follow-up that happens and adding the personal touch back in, and it's all automated, clear down to the back end where it's from contract to close, from a new listing until it goes under contract, from a new buyer until we write a contract. We basically took what most agents have as a checklist, if they have one, a checklist in their file, and I electronified it, put dates and times on it, and when you hit the start button, you can't turn it off. Who's listening that didn't know, my wife was in an accident on March 13th. In a head-on collision. She recovered by the first week of June. By the third week of June, she just didn't wake up one day and was in a coma, and they lost her on the way to the hospital when she wouldn't wake up. That lack of oxygen put her into a coma for 6 months, and we lost her on November 4th. We couldn't get her back out of that anoxic brain injury. So I took her all over the country, guys, and this is the thing, this is the message from this plan right here that's so important. Because I always push myself way out of my comfort level to hang around people like you, Patrick, and everybody else and push myself to be successful like you guys, because I was always way above comfortable and always stretching myself. When this happened, honestly, I fell back to a comfortable level. Like I didn't have to worry about whether my house payment was going to be made or my car payments. And I worry about that all the time because most people get stuck at comfortable. And then when something really bad happens, it sucks them down to uncomfortable. And the last thing I could even imagine dealing with while I was in Lincoln, Nebraska for several months trying to get my wife awake is worrying about whether or not my house payment was being made and my car payment. That would have made this the most horrendous thing ever. I mean, it already was.
Now, you do coaching too. So if people want to hire you to help them with setting up their database, would you do that?
I would.
Awesome. Awesome. Brad, thanks so much. I don't know how somebody can turn database automation into a moving story, but boy, did you ever. That wasn't what I was expecting. And that's obviously one of the reasons why your session was rated so high this last year is because you were able to personalize something that is not very personal.